Well, hello once again. We are back to our little old juke for a short video. This is not going to be very long. I just wanted to give you an update of what's going on. You know, it may be 90 degrees or more out there in the garage where I work on the Thunderbird, and I'm not going to do that anymore until it cools down. But that doesn't mean I can't work in the shop where the old air conditioner is taking very good care of me. So that's what I've been doing. You know, if I'm not out there, I'm in here. Of course, I have a life to lead too. You know, in a yard, clean, and mow. God. Anyway, forget all that crap. Just to let you know what's going on, I have the toroid electrical selector is now in, all been de-rusted. This new one we bought, or the new old one, had a cover on it, which was really nice. I was able to strip that down too and paint it. I'm probably going to have to put something in there to cut down that vibration. Maybe I've got some felt. I'll probably take this cover back off with the screw, put a little felt up underneath there, keep it from rattling, because when those records play, that thing could be heard. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I can put it on. It's not a problem. And one screw and the whole cover comes off. Glue a piece of felt on it. We're done. All the lights are wired, the electrical sockets and the starter, except for this one right here. This one right here, I can't really hook up to here on this starter over here until I find out how long the lead needs to be, because there's a back that goes on here, okay, and this thing here runs along the front of the back. It runs along here and it'll come across here. I want to make sure I have the right length before I go lopping things off here, so I went ahead and just hooked it up with a little gator wire until the time comes. Also, we got our I do not have the electrical wiring attached down here. This is where the ends of the ballasts for the lights. These are going to be the lights, the light wires here, all of this stuff here. And I do have one of the chassis. The Tor mat is on the chassis. Got this baby in, got the door back on, and we have our, I can't even remember what you call the stupid thing now. It's been so long, you know, that enables us to select a record. Can't even remember. Oh my gosh, that's what you call getting old, guys. I'll be putting a padlock on it. And over here is our on-off switch, and of course our reject button. And the master volume will stick through here. The volume control will stick through here on the amplifier. If I can get this thing to focus in a little bit. There we go. The control will stick through here on the amplifier, so we can turn the volume up. Got the mechanism in, and it's kind of nice, you know, to see our little buttons that we can press and they pop back up. I still need to get one of these labels. I can get one of those later. You just reach under here and take loose the screws, and it comes down. Put the label in. You're done. Piece of cake on that. And I've got to put the lid on. That'll be the last thing I do, but I want to get that back on. Everything has to be good to go here before I put the lid on. I don't want to be constantly raising and lowering the lid. You know, it just drives me nuts. So anyway, that's what's going on. Just to let you know, we haven't been sitting on our laurels. Yes, we have the speakers in down there. We have our crossover network in there also. Everything's looking good. Originally there was a two-prong female, get this baby over here where it's out of the way. Originally there was a double outlet thing down in there where there were two plugs, one from the Tor mat and one from both of the ballasts. So it was just a two-plug deal, and it ran out. Well, I've elected, of course, if you remember, if you've been following the series, I've decided to put each of the ballasts and lights on a separate circuit, plug them in individually instead of joining them together. We will be using a let me see if I can find it here. Well, I thought I had it. I guess not. Anyway, I went to the flea market the other day, and there was a long power strip there, and I picked it up for $3. It's got a nice long cord. It's going to hook in really nice where those wires are threaded through that little thing right there. And then we'll run it out through the hole here, and it's going to be real good, okay? And it's got an on-off switch on the power. It's a surge protector kind of thing. It's going to work really good. So anyway, that's what's been going on, folks. I still have to put the cover You know, that big old square cover has to go down over the top of the needle and the tone arm, and I've got to get a couple of things installed up here. I've decided to lighten the load, keep the load low on the power transformer. I disconnected the record play, or you know, that thing over there. I forget what they call it. I'm forgetting a lot lately, huh? There it is. It's a record. It's a play count thing. I disconnected that again. I didn't want that to be a load on the power transformer. And there's going to be a long thing that comes along here. It's the record count. I don't need that either. It's got a little thing on there, a solenoid that every time a record is selected, it comes on down, activates, and clicks those white wheels over, increases the count. I'm going to disconnect that also. I don't need that stuff. I'll leave the wires there. You know, the next guy that wants to hook it up, all he has to do is solder the wires on. It's not a problem. So anyway, that's what's going on, just to let you know. I do have the amplifier still out of it. I was getting ready to make the changes that Harry Hall recommended. He recommended that this 47 ohm resistor right here be changed to a 100 ohm because I put a diode in there in place of this selenium rectifier. So that we're going to be putting that in here. Take that 47 ohm, put a 100 ohm in there. That makes up for a little bit of loss of resistance there. It probably wouldn't make any difference, but I don't want to take the chance. It's no big deal. Now's the time to do it. He also recommended that the grid circuit of the V101 here, the grid circuit of the V101, he recommended that his notes said to change C108, and down here off the grid circuit here of V108 over here, the C147 and 101 up here, I'm sorry, and C108 and where the heck is it now, and C147 be changed to a 0.33, I think is what he said. 0.033 says, yeah, 0.22 to a 0.033 off the grids of those two, but we don't need to do that right now. This is your ABC circuit, and we're not going to have tubes in there for the ABC circuit. You can run without them. These are the two tubes, the 6BJ6. I do have them. If in fact, once I get it all playing and everything, I may decide to go ahead and stick these tubes back in, and then if they work fine, I'll go ahead and come back and remove the amp again and go ahead and change those two capacitors. But everything, if it works fine without it, because you know it originally came without the tubes and nobody used it. That was to make up for loud and soft records, you know, so they all pretty much sounded the same. So right now all I'm going to do is change this resistor, and then I'm going to throw this thing on the door. The door does sag a little, unfortunately. I got to put the lock on. I've got the lock on the counter over here. But the door, I don't think the door sags so much as the entire cabinet is kind of lopsided a little bit. But well, when you get that old, that's the problem. I don't care if you're a jukebox or what you are. A little bit of sag, I don't worry about it. I've seen some people, they just take this black thing completely off and just leave the gold, the frame, the metal steel frame. I guess they figure they leave the back off. It allows it to cool better. I don't know, probably does. And keeps it ventilated better. They may even put a fan down in there. I don't know, which I could do. I don't know. I'm gonna talk to Brendan about all this later on. Right now, I just want to get the stupid thing playing, play a few records, and then we can make a few modifications over the winter time. What do you say? Anyway, that's what's going on with here. We're not just sitting around doing nothing. And this thing here, I was really glad I did everything I did to these sliders way back then. For those of you who remember, that puppy just slid right on in there without even so much as a whimper. All these cables have to be put down through the holes underneath. They'll wind up hanging down in there, and we'll plug them all into our amp and our toroid, or our tormat rather. And that's it. Well, that's it from the home front. Until next time, hopefully next time I'll have the back on. I have to paint it. I'll have the lid on. And one thing still, if anybody knows where I can get those decals, those musical instrument decals that originally came on the Seeburg jukebox lids. There was a trumpet, and I think there was a clarinet, and maybe a violin or something, but they were nice big gold things, and they stuck to the glass. When you look down through, they were positioned. If you just look up a Seeburg AY160, I think they have the AY160, or you can even look up a AY100, and I think you'll see a picture of what I'm talking about. If anybody knows, I've looked all over. I can't find anybody that even sells those things. Anyway, let's cut it off here. I said this was going to be a quick video. That's long enough. Until next time, this is John.